Ripple CTO David Schwartz has a hot take that I agree with. We're going to talk XRP price because we're printing some support candlesticks. Tron in the stock market, oh, it's cringe, but I got a report on it. BTC, a lot of dumpage action is happening. ETH gaining traction in the ETF market. And oh, Mr. Garrison is making a return today.
I say lots of naughty things, so here's your warning.
I know what you're thinking. Bro, you're not in the studio. No, I'm not. I'm stuck in Miami with a layover. And yes, you heard correctly. Mr. Garrison is coming back. We got lots to discuss because it looks like XRP is getting some floor support. $3, new floor. Y'all okay with that? Let me know in the comments down below. Now, before we get into crypto news, you know the deal. Your comments come first. Why? Because you, the viewer, matter most. Egg on the Conqueror says at 428 mark, says seems like the banks are actually scared. Imagine the money they would lose out on while blockchain tech runs 24/7, 365. He edited this and said, you said the exact same thing immediately after posting. Seriously, that's why the banks are trying to stop Ripple and all these crypto companies, because crypto moves 24/7, 365, and so does life. Isn't it cool to be able to trade this action on the weekends when stuff happens, where all the stock market freaks have to like wake up super early on Monday morning and try to get their action? Yeah, they miss out on the news and life that happens on the weekend. Oh, Vision to be Vision says Malcolm Jamal Warner was number 3. That's right. I heard about that after the fact because of your comments in the description down below. Theo, I was a big Cosby fan. Were you? Puddin' Pops, everyone? Oh, and I've got one to share with you. Here's Rory White. This is proof that, I don't know, people are dumb as fuck. Rory White says, you talk too much about government. I think you're paid by them. Mr. Garrison?
Uh-oh, retard alert! Retard alert, class!
Yeah, me paid by the government. Okay. Bitcoin's sitting at 116,219. ETH is 3714. XP at 310. We're going to talk price action because we got some floor support. ADA's looking right around that 80-cent mark, while Sol couldn't hold the 200 mark, 180. Let's get into it right away. BlackRock's Ethereum ETF becomes the third fastest ETF to reach 10 billion. Now, look, ETH has been a laggard, but recently things have turned around for ETH. And to be the third fastest ETF to reach 10 billion, that's extremely impressive. This rotation, according to an analyst, is a reflection of growing confidence in ETH's long-term value, which includes its proof-of-stake architecture and its role in decentralized finance. Now, this is a big reason why players are big on ETH. BlackRock has applied to allow staking in ETH. Hey, that's their ETF ticker symbol, which would allow you to lock up some of its ETH holdings and able the fund to generate yield. Yeah, so instead of just like having your crypto somewhere, the crypto can earn you something. An SEC decision earlier this year clarified that staking rewards are considered income rather than securities, paving the way for approval later this year. And that's a big deal because I think a lot of us out there would love to be able to park our crypto somewhere and earn a little bit of juice on that action. Gensler, it wasn't a security. Yeah, maybe we got to bring back the Garrison alert for Gensler too. Galaxy Digital sells over 10,000 BTC in 8 hours. Yo, that's big. And so for people out there wondering, where is all this BTC? Where's all the XP coming from? Remember, as people buy, people are also selling too. Recall that the investment management firm Galaxy Digital offers over-the-counter trading services to its clients looking to sell their coins with minimal market impact. Yesterday, Thursday, it moved over 10,000 BTC worth approximately 1.18 billion in 8 hours. So yeah, there's always players out there taking profits, and there's always people like Sailor out there buying the tip. Interestingly, Look On Chain has identified the actual seller in a tweet on Friday, citing data from Arkham. According to the market analytic firm, it belongs to a Satoshi-era whale who transferred over 80,000 BTC to Galaxy Digital over the course of this month. So even some of these long-term whales of BTC are dumping the action and taking some profit-a-roni. For perspective, the Crypto Basic reported that the whale awoke after 14 years of dormancy on July 3rd and dislodged a staggering 80,000 BTC worth almost 10 billion spread over 8 different wallets. That's pretty crazy, everyone. And remember, not all these players out there have to time the tip. And some people, honestly, they just want to use that cash to what? Rotate it into other projects. Remember Jed McCaleb, right? He sold a whole bunch of his XRP via Taco Stand. And what happened? He rotated that into some space exploration projects. So not everyone out there needs the money. Like a lot of these whales, just throwing it out there, have so much money that they don't need to hodl their crypto. They've got so many other investments that sometimes they just want the fiat, baby. Tron's NASDAQ debut a dud. I don't really think it was a dud. You'll see what I'm talking about here, but it was kind of cringe, just throwing it out there. On July 24, Justin Sun, the founder of Tron, rang the opening bell as the NASDAQ stock exchange. For real, has hell frozen over? Justin Sun is one of the most corrupt, disgusting people in the crypto market out there. And now this guy's getting in on stock market stuff. And okay, let's just get back into it. The occasion marked Tron's NASDAQ debut following last month's reverse merger with SRM Entertainment. Now, they did rebrand their ticker symbol. Okay, I'm going to share that with you. Oh, and everything you see in this video, it's all linked in the description below. Clad in a tuxedo, Sun, who serves as Tron's global advisor, delivered some remarks ahead of the bell, declaring the occasion to have been his dream for 15 years. Oh, God, this is so cringe, but I got to bring you the news. I'm sorry. SRM shares had languished all year below $1, threatening its ability to remain on the NASDAQ. But then with the Tron deal and the whole reverse merger, it caused a spike in price. All right. So when they say the NASDAQ debut was a dud, they're talking about that day. But this is the shares of the company. Okay, so what I got up on the screen is the 6 month here. Let's just do this. Let's just put the 1 year chart. So that SRM Entertainment, okay, they do stuff for theme parks, all right? Now, their price sucked balls. And then all of a sudden, Justin Sun reverse merger, it went from like 40, 50, 70, 30 cents to, yes, everyone, over $10. In fact, got to a high of $12.80 before a little profit taken and then pumping again. So yeah, maybe it was a dud on the launch day for NASDAQ, but the reality is, or I'm sorry, when he rang the bell, but the reality is the reverse merge has been very profitable for SRM, now rebranded as Tron TRN shares, TRON shares. Now, normally I'm not a big fan of Boobala, but I got to agree, this dude is right about this shit. And this shows you that, yes, everyone, traditional finance is still trying to defend some really disgusting people. Ripple CTO David Schwartz dismisses Forbes' defense of Sam Bankman-Fried. That's right, Forbes. You know who I'm talking about, right? Yeah, the financial publication. They said that Sam Bankman-Fried, they were defending him. For real, they were defending his good actions and how his good actions have outweighed the fact that he like crushed a bunch of people's money and was doing all this shady stuff. Ripple CTO David Schwartz has criticized a Forbes article that questioned Sam Bankman-Fried's criminal conviction, calling the defense nonsense. The article suggests that the former FTX CEO received unfair treatment given his efforts to establish cryptocurrency regs. The article discussed SBS Washington lobbying activities aimed at creating a stable regulatory framework for digital assets. The reality is this. SBF was lobbying on both sides of the aisle to get regs that would benefit him and his shenanigans. This is what Schwartz said, all right? It's all nonsense. All the good things in the world that SBF and FTX might have done don't erase the bad things we know were done and the fraud that we know took place. That's totally true because the reality is FTX did do a whole bunch of fraudulent things. There was a whole bunch of commingling of funds, which is super, super freaking illegal. And then for FTX to throw his chick, yeah, the one they ran a little bit of a train on, for real, that is shady as well because there was a whole bunch of sweetheart deals between the two companies, which were supposedly separate, but the funds were mixed together. So, yeah, the reality is Schwartz is right on this one. Forbes defending SPF and FTX is disgusting, but what does that tell you? There's some big people out there trying to control the narrative with their money. All right, let's swing it on over to XRP price action, where right now the volume is holding strong at 9.51 billion, down 46%. I know you're like, bro, it's down 46%. Yeah, but 9.5 billion is still bonkers ass action. Look at the greater crypto market volume wise. 225 billion. These are big kid numbers, everyone. For a long chunk of time, we're floating around the 125 billion mark. So crypto is hot. And remember, on the 30th of July, the White House is releasing their crypto report. Rumors have it that there's going to be some talk about strategic reserve assets and a big update in regards to that. XRP price, though, is starting to develop a little floor action, as you can kind of see here. But like I said, I'm not going to establish any sort of floor expectation. till we go through this weekend because we know the volume's going to come down even further this weekend. We know players are what, everyone? Yeah, they're going to take some profit-a-bronies. There's going to be some sell action. But for real, we're holding fairly strong right now. Let's go to those candlesticks and see what they tell us. We're going to go to the 1 hour mark. Yeah, I'll switch it up when I get home and we'll start going to TradingView. But right now, you can see exactly what I'm talking about. A little bit of support being built here for XRP. Yeah, you've got some near-term resistance at the 325 mark, but I think we're all okay with that as long as the floor of $3 holds. You got to think, for a while, we were holding that $2 floor. And here, let me zoom out so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. We were holding that $2 floor for a while, had an insane run up here to some bonkers juicy price action up to 365. And now what? Now we've had a little bit of correction, and it appears maybe the worst is over. The cool thing is XRP and all the other alts out there have what, everyone? They've got the Clarity Act, the Senate market structure thing going on. We've got the ETFs. We've got the K stuff. So we've got a lot of bullets in the gun left that could help pump up crypto. And I'm thinking that we're going to get a big pump in volume, a big excitement kind of coming back into the market on the 30th of July with the White House report. Now, will that be a buy the rumor, sell the news event? Well, we're going to have to wait and see. But right now, we are definitely seeing a bit of support here for XRP above the $3 mark. The overall crypto market is looking pretty good as the altcoin season is holding up at 44 out of 100. Let's look at those inflows here because, yes, that was one of the big highlights that I shared with you earlier was about ETH. ETH, by the way, is in the blue bars. BTC is in the orange. And you can see there's been some decent ETH inflows here as of late. Zoom out, though, and you'll see what? It's mostly been BTC dominant. But recently, ETH has been making a move, and staking sure as hell helps. And guess what, everyone? That's been bringing institutional money to the market. See, and even stuck on a layover, I'm bringing you the news. Yeah, my flight was delayed over 4 hours yesterday, waiting on a plane from Dallas to come to Guatemala to get us. If I would have known, I just would have stayed in GT another day and just hung out there in Zone 4 or even Zone 10. Either way, I'm bringing you the news. And what's the big news right now? There's still a lot of money out there controlling the narrative in crypto. The FTX story is a good example of that. How can you give SBF and FTX a golden pass? They did a whole bunch of fraudulent things. And what's really disgusting about that is Forbes is a financial publication. So you're telling me a financial publication is okay with fraud, okay with commingling of funds, okay with shady intra-company loan practices? I don't know. I think someone's putting some money into Forbes to say nice things about SBF and FTX. What a joke. Either way, Bubla is right. It's disgusting, and good actions don't undo what, everyone? Bad things that were done. Now, speaking of good things, well, it's good to see XRP maintaining some floor support. But like I said, I'm not going to call any sort of floor until we get a little bit more action. I especially want to see what happens this weekend. This last week, we had a little bit of a sell-off action here, and I want to see if the low volume and kind of weekend disinterest, because we remember, on the weekends, traditional finance kind of chills the F out, and we've seen traditional finance has kind of gotten their fingers into crypto, and we've seen the markets follow that pattern. So let's see what happens when the traditional finance players take the weekend off, but crypto never stops, and neither do I. That's why, even while in Miami, yes, I'm in Miami right now on a layover, I'm bringing you the news. Choo-choo what? Well, I mean, hopefully my plane leaves on time. Otherwise, I might have to take a freaking train home. Choo-choo bitches.